Hello again. Welcome back. I'm glad to see you, and welcome to class 102. This is class 102. Not bad. We're making progress. We're progressing. We're advancing. We're improving. We're getting better every day, little by little, step by step, slowly but surely. We're moving in the right direction. 2 steps forward and 1 step back. 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Slowly but surely covering the essential points that you need to be a good speaker of English, to be a good communicator with my language. And I'm glad to see, I'm glad to see that you're taking advantage of this program. I'm glad to see that you're enjoying this course. I'm glad to see that you're benefiting from this course. I'm glad to see that you're finding this course beneficial, productive, and constructive for your English. So, continuamos. Shall we continue? Okay, eso lo veremos más adelante. Shall we continue? Yes, let's continue, but on camera number 1. Okay, were you at home last night at 10 o'clock? No, I wasn't. Where were you? I was in a Mexican restaurant. A Mexican restaurant, yes. And were you at home at 11 o'clock? Yes, I was. And where were you at 1 o'clock in the morning? I was at home in bed. What were you doing? I was sleeping. Oh, okay. Was Spain a country in 1392? No, it wasn't. Was Spain a country in 1492? Yes, it was. Who was the king of Spain in 1492? The king of Spain was Ferdinand, and the queen was Isabella. And who was the king of Spain in 1592? In 1592, the king of Spain was Philip II. And who was the king of Spain in 1692? The king of Spain in 1692 was Charles II, the last Habsburg, the last king of the House of Austria. Okay. Who was the king in 1792? The king in 1792 was Charles IV. Yes. The 4th Bourbon king. Yes. The son of Charles III. He was the king in 1792. And Godoy was the prime minister. Who was the king in 1892? Well, the king in 1892 was Alphonse the 13th. But I'm not sure if it was the Regencia still in 1892. And who was the king in 1992? That's not long ago. The king was Juan Carlos I. He was the king in 1992. And who's the king now? The same man, Juan Carlos I, is still the king of Spain. He's still the king of Spain. And who was the president of the United States in 1792? The president of the United States in 1792 was George Washington. Okay. Who was the Who was the president of the United States in 1836? 1836. The president of the United States in 1836 was Andrew Jackson. Oh, me suena. Su nombre. His name rings a bell. Su nombre toca una campanita. His name rings a bell. Who was the president in 1862? The president of the United States in 1862 was Abraham Lincoln. And who was the king of Spain at the same time. The king, nobody. The queen of Spain was Isabel II, I think, in 1862. And who was the king of France? In 1862, nobody. There wasn't a king of France in 18. There was an emperor, yeah, Louis Napoleon. Louis Napoleon was the nephew of Napoleon, or the grandnephew. He was the emperor of France in 1862. Who was the president of the United States in 1903? 1903, yeah. Theodore Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt, Roosevelt was the president in 1903. And who was the president in 1933? Well, in 1933, the president of the United States was Franklin Roosevelt, his nephew, Teddy's nephew. All right. Who was the president of the United States in 1963? Well, it depends. Before November 21st, the president was John Kennedy. After November 21st, 1963, the president of the United States was Lyndon Johnson. Who was the president? Who was the president in 1983? The president in 1983 was Ronald Reagan. And who was the president in 1993? Bill Clinton was the president in 1993. And who was the president in 2003? George Bush Jr. George Bush was the George W. Bush was the president of the United States in 2003. And were you a politician 20 years ago? Me? No, I wasn't. Were you a clown 20 years ago? A clown? Yeah, a circus clown. De circo? No, I wasn't. Were you a famous person 20 years ago? No, I wasn't. Were you a television teacher 20 years ago? No, I wasn't. Were you a radio teacher 20 years ago? No, I wasn't. Were the Marx Brothers famous 60 years ago? Yes, they were. Okay. I'll be back in a few minutes to continue.
Thank you, Richard. My name's Carly, and now we're going to review the previous class. We're going to review the previous class with my student, Almudena. How are you?
Fine, thanks, Carly.
Good. All right, I'm fine too. If you want to begin, we are going to practice the verb to be in the past. So if I say estuve,
I was.
I was, perfect, I was. Good. We're going to practice 3 minutes of a review with the verb to be. I'm going to ask Almudena questions. You practice out loud. Always en voz alta. Siempre en voz alta. Always out loud. Ready?
Yes.
Excellent. Good. Were you happy yesterday?
Yes, I was happy yesterday.
Perfect. So we have two options, short or long. We're going to practice the long answer. Yes, I was, or yes, I was happy yesterday. Good. Were you in Spain last week?
Yes, I was in Spain last week.
Perfect. Good. Yes, I was in Spain last week. Was the Queen of England in England yesterday?
Yes, the King of England.
The Queen.
The Queen.
Yeah.
The Queen of England was in England yesterday.
Perfect. And the short answer?
Yes, she was.
Perfect. Yes, she was. Yes, the Queen of England was in England yesterday. Yes, she was. Perfect. Was the King of Spain here yesterday?
Yes, the King of Spain was here yesterday.
Great. In Spain, right? Not here in the studio, but in Spain. And the short answer?
Yes, he was.
Perfect. Good. All right. Were you at your house yesterday?
Yes, I was at home yesterday.
Perfect. At home or at her house? They're the same. At home is better. Yes, I was at home yesterday. I was at home yesterday. Were you studying yesterday?
Yes,
Good.
I was studying yesterday.
Good. Were you studying English yesterday?
Of course, I was studying English yesterday.
Excellent. Good. I was studying English yesterday. Yes, I was. The short answer and the long, yes, I was studying English yesterday. Good. Were you drinking coffee yesterday?
Yes, I was drinking coffee yesterday.
Perfect. Good. Were you eating yesterday?
Eating?
Eating.
Eating. Yes, I was eating yesterday.
Perfect. So the same. The verb in the present simple or the verb in the present continuous? Always. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. Was my mother here yesterday?
Yes, your mother was here yesterday.
Perfect. Short answer?
Yes, she was.
Perfect. Good. Was my brother in Canada yesterday? He was.
Yes, he was.
Perfect. Tell me. The long answer.
Yes, he was in Canada yesterday.
Excellent. Good. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Good pronunciation. Yes, my brother was in Canada yesterday. Yes, the Queen of England was in England. The King of Spain was here, etc. Good. Now, we are going to practice were. Practice were. All right. Let's see. Was I here with you yesterday?
No. You weren't here with me yesterday.
Perfect. Good. No, you weren't. Yes, you were. Negative or positive? Were. Were. Where? ¿Dónde? Were. Very good. Continue. Was I your teacher last week?
No, you weren't my teacher last week.
Perfect. Good. Was I working yesterday?
Yes, you were working yesterday.
Excellent. Good. And short answer?
Yes, you were.
Perfect. Good. Yes, you were working yesterday. Yes, you were. Yes, you were. Good. Was I eating breakfast yesterday morning?
Yes, you were eating breakfast yesterday morning.
Good. She knows everything about me. She knows everything. She's like a mind reader. Good. Were they in France last month?
Yes, they were in France last month.
Good. The pronunciation France.
France.
Excellent. Come on, one more time.
Yes, they were in France last month.
Perfect. Good. That C is crucial. Yes, they were. Yes, they were in France last month. Perfect. Were you and I studying together yesterday?
Were you?
Were you and I studying together yesterday?
No, we weren't studying together yesterday.
Perfect. Good. No, we weren't. Short answer. No, we weren't with a contraction always. Or no, we weren't studying together yesterday. Perfect. Were you and I friends last week?
No, we weren't friends last week.
Perfect, because we hadn't met yet. We didn't meet, right? We met today. Good. So we weren't friends last week. We weren't with the contraction. We were, we weren't. Very good. Were you in Paris last week?
No, I wasn't in Paris last week.
Perfect. Good. No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't in Paris last week. Ask me if I was in Paris last week.
Was you?
Were you? Good.
Were you in Paris last week?
Perfect. Were you is the question. Were you in Paris last week? Yes, I was in Paris last week. Or her and I, Almudena and I. Yes, we were in Paris last week. I was, you were, he, she was, we were, they were. All this were. Very good. Let's see. Were they here yesterday working?
Yes, they were here yesterday working.
Excellent. Yes, they were here yesterday working. Were we drinking coffee yesterday?
Yes, we were drinking coffee yesterday.
Good. Not together, but we were drinking coffee separately, right? Her in her house and me in my house. Good. Was and were. Keep practicing. I'll leave you with Richard.
Okay. Was Cervantes Spanish? Yes, he was. Was Napoleon Spanish? ¿Quién? Napoleon. Napoleón. ¿Cómo lo has dicho? Napoleon. Napoleon. Yes. Was Napoleon Spanish? No, he wasn't. Was he Italian? No, he wasn't. What nationality was he? He was French. Was he a famous rock star? No, he wasn't. Well, what was he? I'll tell you on camera one. Napoleon was a famous general and a famous leader of the French people, of an emperor of the French Empire. But was Napoleon from Paris? No, he wasn't. Was he from Dijon? No, he wasn't. Was he from Bordeaux? No, he wasn't. Where was he from? Napoleon. He was from Corsica. Corsica. Yeah. Was Corsica French at that time, 200 years ago? Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Is it still French today? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But was Napoleon an important person? Yes, he was. Was Otto von Bismarck French? No, he wasn't. Was he Swedish? No, he wasn't. What nationality was he? First, he was Prussian. Prussian? Yeah, first he was Prussian. And then he was German. He unified, he created Germany. Was he an important person? Oh, yes, he was. How long ago was he important? Well, he was important about 150 years ago, okay? In the second half of the 19th century, similar to the times of Carlos de Castillo in Spain, Otto von Bismarck was important in Germany, in Prussia and Germany. Was Hirohito Japanese? Yes, he was. Was he the emperor of Japan? Yes, he was. Was he young? Was he the emperor of Japan during the Second World War? Yes, he was. Was he an old man during the war? No, he wasn't. Was he a young man during the war? Yes, he was. Richard, were you in the Second World War? Me? No, I wasn't. Was your father in the Second World War? Yes, he was. Was he in the Pacific? No, he wasn't. Where was he? He was in Europe. Was he in France? No, he wasn't. Well, where was he? He was in England. Was he a soldier? Yes, he was. Was he a member of the infantry? No, he wasn't. My father? No, he wasn't. Was he a member of the Secret Service? No, he wasn't. Was he an officer? Yes, he was. He was a lieutenant and a captain. But was he a member of the army? No, he wasn't. Was he in the Navy? In the Navy. No, he wasn't. Was he in the Air Force? Yes, he was. Was he a mechanic? No, he wasn't. Was he a pilot? Yes, he was. Was he a bomber pilot? No, he wasn't. Was he a fighter pilot? Kafa? No, he wasn't. What kind of pilot was your father? He was a photo pilot, taking pictures. And was he, how old was he? My father, in the war. 1944 and 1945, he was 20 and 21 years old. He was very young. Yes, he was very young. In danger too all the time, but very young. He was 20 and 21. Okay, was he a good pilot? I think so. All right. And was it dangerous? Yes, it was. It was very dangerous. Okay. And was he in London? No, he wasn't. Where was he in England? He was in a base, an air base near Oxford, England. Okay. And was your mother in England too? No, she wasn't. Where was your mother at that time? She was in Texas. Really? At the same time, your father was in England, your mother was in Texas. Were they married at that time? No, they weren't. Were they engaged? Engaged. I don't understand. How do you say engaged in Spanish? Well, in this particular case, prometidos. When? In 1944 and 1945? Yes, they were. They were. They were engaged. But was your mother in Dallas, Texas? At that time? No, she wasn't. Was she in Houston? No, she wasn't. Was she in San Antonio? No, she wasn't. Was she in El Paso? No, she wasn't. Where was she in Texas? She was in Austin, the capital. Oh, okay. And how old was she when your father was in England? Oh, she was 21 and 22. Was your mother older than your father? Yes, my mother was 17 months older than my father. And was your mother a student during the war? No, she wasn't. Was she a worker, an employee? Yes, she was. Okay. And was Texas a state in the United States 200 years ago? No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. 200 years ago? No. 170 years ago? Yes, it was. Okay. Was Texas part of Spain? Yes, it was. Was Texas part of Mexico? Yes, it was. Was the Atacama Desert part of Bolivia many years ago? Yes, it was. Is it part of Bolivia now? No, it's not. Is it part of Chile now? Yes, it is. Was it part of Chile 200 years ago? No, it wasn't. It was part of Bolivia. Oh, okay. It's interesting. Okay. Well, let's take a short break. We have to listen to our sponsors and to watch the essentials, but I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, welcome back. Were the Beatles from London? No, they weren't. No, they weren't. Were they from Manchester? No, they weren't. Were they from Newcastle? No, they weren't. Were they from Edinburgh? No, they weren't. Were they from Cardiff? No, they weren't. Were they from Birmingham? No, they weren't. Oh, the Beatles, where were they from? They were from Liverpool. They were from Liverpool. Were they young when they became famous? Yes, they were. Yes. Were they famous in 1960? No, they weren't. Were they famous when you were young? Me? Yes, they were famous when I was young. Okay. They were famous in 1963 and 1964. All right. I'll be back in a few minutes after our next teacher.
Hello, hello. Soy Fitz. My name is Fitz. Gracias, Richard. Thank you, Richard. And thank you. Gracias a ti. Tenemos aquí otra vez Almudena de León. How is Almudena de León today?
I'm fine, thanks.
Okay. Are you ready for some questions?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Are you ready for some questions? Okay. Let's go. Vámonos. Vamos a practicar con was y were. To be en el pasado. Were you, Almudena, were you a famous writer in the 1970s?
No, I wasn't a famous writer.
Famous.
I wasn't a famous writer in the 1970s.
Muy bien. Okay, yes. Famous. Were you, en casa, were you a famous writer in the 1970s? No, I wasn't a famous writer in the 1970s. Or maybe you were a famous writer in the 1970s. Was I a famous writer in the 1970s?
No, you weren't a famous writer in the 1970s.
Muy bien. Were they?
No, they weren't famous writers.
A famous writer. One famous writer.
A famous writer in the 1970s.
Very good. Muy bien. Was Michael Jackson famous when he was young?
Yes, Michael Jackson was famous when he was young.
Very good. Was Michael Jackson famous when he was young? Famous, famous? Yes, he was famous when he was young. He was famous when he was young. Was I?
No, you weren't famous when you was
When you were?
when you were old.
When you were young?
Young.
Young. And again? You
Uh,
weren't?
Yes, no, you weren't famous when you were young.
Young. And were you?
No, I wasn't famous when I was young.
Okay. I wasn't famous when I was young. She wasn't famous when she was young. Michael Jackson was famous when he was young. Were you famous when you were young? Yes, I was famous when I was young. Or no, I wasn't. I was not. I wasn't famous when I was young. Okay. Was Don Quixote an umbrella?
No, Don Quixote wasn't an umbrella.
Okay. Were you?
No, I wasn't an umbrella.
Was I?
No, you weren't an umbrella.
Were they?
No, they weren't an umbrella.
¿Y umbrella significa?
Sombrilla, paraguas.
Okay. Was Canada a small country 5 years ago?
No, Canada wasn't a small country 5 years ago.
Okay. Was Luxembourg?
Yes, Luxembourg.
Luxembourg.
Luxembourg was a small country 5 years ago.
Okay. Was Ireland?
Yes, Ireland was a small country 5 years ago.
Very good. Was Ronald Reagan the oldest president of the United States?
Yes, Ronald Reagan was the oldest president in the
Of the United States.
of the United States.
Very good. And again from the beginning.
Yes, Ronald Reagan was the oldest president of the United States.
Very good. Of the United States. Yes, Ronald Reagan was the oldest president of the United States. Were you?
No, I wasn't the oldest president of the United States.
Were they?
No, they weren't the oldest president of the United States.
Was I?
No, you weren't the oldest president of the United States.
Very good. Okay, ahora en casa. You weren't. You were not. You weren't. You weren't the oldest president of the United States. Puedes decirlo en voz alta, ahora mismo. You weren't the oldest president of the United States. Muy bien. Okay. Was Bruce Springsteen in your bathroom this morning?
No, it was Bruce Springsteen wasn't.
Bruce Springsteen.
No, well, Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen.
Springsteen.
Springsteen wasn't in my bathroom this morning.
Were they?
No, they weren't in my bathroom this morning.
Was I?
No, you weren't in my bathroom this morning.
Were you?
Yes, I was in my bathroom this morning.
Okay, so yes, I was in my bathroom this morning. They weren't, they were not, they weren't in my bathroom this morning. Okay? Was I your teacher 200 years ago?
No, you weren't my teacher 200 years ago.
Very good. Was Santa Claus?
Santa Claus? No, Santa Claus wasn't my teacher 200 years ago.
Very good. Was I?
No, you weren't my teacher 200 years ago.
Very good. And were they?
No, they weren't my teacher 200 years ago.
Very good. So they were not, negative, they were not my teacher 200 years ago. They weren't. Y nunca es weren't. They weren't my teacher 200 years ago. Okay? Ahora, puedes practicar en casa. They weren't my teacher 200 years ago. Okay. Muy bien, pero en voz alta. Muy bien. Okay. Were you the president of Ireland when you were young?
No, I wasn't the president of Ireland when I was young.
Was I?
No, you weren't the president of Ireland when you was young.
When you were young.
When you were young.
Otra vez.
No, you weren't the president of Ireland when you were young.
Very good. When you were young.
When you were young.
Very good. Okay. When you were young. Y no es when you were young. When you were young. You weren't the president of Ireland when you were young. Otra vez como lluvia. When you were young. You weren't the president of Ireland when you were young. Otra vez en casa. Ahora, tu tiempo. Otra vez en voz más alta. Muy bien. Okay. Was Marilyn Monroe a famous football player?
No, Marilyn Monroe.
Or you can say she. You can say, no, she.
No, she wasn't a famous football
Player.
player.
Again?
No, she wasn't a famous football player.
Okay. So no, she wasn't. She wasn't a famous football player. Was Marilyn Monroe a famous football player? No, she wasn't a famous football player. Okay. Was Cervantes Spanish?
Yes, he was Spanish.
He was Spanish.
Yes, he was Spanish.
Very good. Okay. Yes, he was Spanish. Okay. Were you Spanish? No, I wasn't Spanish. Was Cervantes? Yes, he was Spanish. Gracias, Almudena de León. Thank you. And thank you. And goodbye. Os dejo con Richard.
Welcome back. Okay, list, translation list. Camera one. Ese hombre es feo. That man is ugly. That man is ugly. ¿Qué palabra fea? La palabra ugly en inglés. Ugly, ugly, ugly. Beautiful, ugly. Ese hombre es feo. That man is ugly. Es un hombre feo. He's an ugly man. He's an ugly man. ¿De dónde es tu profesor? Where's your teacher from? Where's your teacher from? Me? I'm your teacher. I'm from the United States. Alberto is from the United States. Hannah is from the United States. Carly is from Canada, I think. Or from, I can't remember. I think she's from Canada. Kyle is from Canada. Fitz is from Ireland. Richard Brown is from England. David Waddell is from England. I can't remember more. I'm forgetting one or two teachers. Layla is from Spain, but also from California. Okay. And I can't remember another. I'm forgetting somebody. Okay, ¿de dónde es tu profesor? Where's your teacher from? ¿De dónde son tus profesores? Where are your teachers from? Are they from Spain? Or are they from English-speaking countries? Well, the teachers in Vago en Inglés 4.0 are from English-speaking countries, although Layla is a borderline case. Okay? She's from California and from Spain. Okay. Estos son los libros de mi profesor. These are my teacher's books. Spanish with a Texas accent. Estos son los libros de mi profesor. These are my teacher's books. They're not my books. They're my teacher's books. They're not my books. They're my teacher's books. El azul is de Pepe. The blue one is Pepe's. It's not Maria's, and it's not mine. It's Pepe's. The blue one, eh? The yellow one is mine, and the purple one is Maria's. Maria's favorite color is purple. Deep purple, okay? Purple haze. Okay, yes. But mine is blue. No, Pepe's is blue. Okay, el azul es de Pepe. The blue one is Pepe's. El de ella es el que está allí. Hers is the one over there. Mine is the one under the table. But hers, Maria's, hers is the one over there. And yours? Where's yours? Is yours the one next to the ceiling? Or is yours the one next to the door? Which one is yours? That one or that one? The blue one or the white one? The one next to the ceiling or the one next to the door? Which one is yours? Mine is under the table. Mine is the one, el que está bajo la mesa. Mine is the one under the table, and Pepe's is the blue one, the one over there. Where's yours? Okay. Estás equivocado, amigo mío. You're wrong. I'm sorry. You're wrong. You're completely wrong. In this case, you're wrong. I'm sorry to say, but you're wrong. And I'm right. Sos del Rey Católico is in Zaragoza. It's not in Huesca. You're wrong. Even though you say, sos, desde luego, en San Huesca. No, it's not. It's in the province of Zaragoza. It's not in the province of Huesca. You're wrong. I'm right, and you're wrong. In this case, I'm right, and you're wrong. Okay. I'm not wrong. I'm right. Esto es para aquella gente. Nadie acierta con esta frase. A ver si vosotros. Esto, por ejemplo, este bolígrafo. Esto es para aquella gente. No, sorry. Think. One more time. Esto es para aquella gente. No, don't repeat the same sentence. This is for those people. Gente es plural siempre. Aquellas gentes o aquellas personas. This is for those people. That people no existe en inglés. This is for those people. This pen isn't for me. It's for those people. La casa de Antonio es muy grande. Antonio's house is very big. Or Tony's house is very big. Antonio's house is very big. Mine is small, but his is big. Mine's small and his is big. Estos problemas son fáciles de resolver. These problems are easy to solve. Solve, solventar. Solve, resolver, solucionar. Solve. These problems are easy. Easy peasy, Japanesey. These problems are easy. 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 Cheese. These problems are easy to solve. Están muy cansados hoy. ¿Quiénes? Los pilotos. They're very tired today. They're very tired. I'm not tired. And Maria's not tired. But Pepe and Pablo, boof, they're tired. They're tired. They're tired today. They're tired. I'm not tired. Are you tired? Is she tired? Is he tired? Are we tired? Is Maria tired? No, we're not. Manuel and Pepe, are they tired? Yes, they are. They're tired. Why are they tired? They're tired because learning English is difficult, and they're tired. They're tired. Well, teaching English is difficult too, but I'm not tired. Okay? La primera parte es bastante difícil. Ojo. The first part is quite difficult, Quite difficult. Escrito quite. Quítese, quite. 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 No lo confundas con quiet, que es callado, silencioso, tranquilo. Quite, quite, quite. The first part is quite difficult. Sinónimo, pretty, como bonito. The first part is pretty difficult. Anda. Es difícil, Es bastante difícil. The first part is pretty difficult. The first part is quite difficult. The second part, no. The second part, surprisingly, is quite easy. But the first part is quite difficult. París es una ciudad muy famosa. Paris, no París. Paris is a very famous city. Yes. Paris is a very famous city. It's a very beautiful city. It's the capital of France. It's near the English Channel and near Belgium. But it's on the Seine River. Paris is a very famous, fijaos en la pronunciación, por favor, famous. Hay gente que lleva 10 años con el inglés viviendo fuera y dicen famous todavía. Famous. Okay. I'll see you in a few minutes to close the program.
Thank you, Richard. Gracias, Richard. Hola, ¿qué tal todos? Hi, everyone. How are you? I'm Hannah, and I'm here. Estoy aquí para ayudaros, to help you, para ayudaros con esa sección, with this section for today. But first, primero, let's say hello to my student for today, Silvana. Hello.
Hello, Hannah.
How are you today?
Fine, thank you.
I'm great, thank you. Okay, we're going to start with vocabulary. Okay, so empecemos con vocabulario. So remember, en voz alta hay que repetir las palabras muchas veces y después incorporarlas en tu inglés diario. Okay, so let's start. Empecemos. Finalmente, por último.
Finally.
Good, repeat again.
Finally.
Very good. Finally. Finally. Okay, so finally. F-I-S-I al principio se pronuncia como si fuera una A-I. Okay, A-I. Finally. No finally. Finally no me digáis finally. Hay que decir finally. Finally. Okay, siguiente. Lleno.
Full.
Okay, good, repeat.
Full.
Okay, good. Full. Full. Muy bien. Full. Full. Okay, so full. 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 Esa U. Listen to that vocal. Listen to that vowel. Full. Full. Siguiente. Ubicación.
Location.
Okay, good. Repeat.
Location.
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 Okay, good. Location. Again.
Location.
Okay, very good. Location. Location. Esa T-I-O-N al final se pronuncia location. Location. Siguiente. Disculpe. Disculpe.
Excuse me.
Okay, good. Repeat.
Excuse me.
Okay, very good. Excuse me. Excuse me. Disculpe, disculpe. Excuse me. Do you speak English? Do you speak Spanish? Do you speak Korean? Okay. And finally, we have oficial.
Official.
Okay, good. Repeat.
Official.
Okay, good. Official.
Official.
Muy bien. Very good. So repeat. Official. Official. Again, repeat with me. Official. Official. Muy bien. Very good. Okay, let's continue with our translation list. Traduce, please. Ese hombre es feo.
That man is ugly.
Okay, very good. Repeat.
That man is ugly.
Okay, good. That.
That man is ugly.
Very good. Muy bien, Silvana. Perfect. That. TH. That. Okay, please. Remember cuando tenemos TH así, that. That. Sacamos la lengua un pelín y soplamos. That man is ugly. Okay, so ugly, feo, decimos ugly, no decimos ugly. Ugly no. Ugly suena como un juego para niños. Ugly, no. Ugly. Ugly. Esa U suena como si fuera una A. Okay, ¿de dónde es tu profesor?
Where?
Where is?
Where is your teacher?
From?
Where is your teacher from?
Eso es. Repeat. Muy bien.
Where is your teacher from?
Muy bien. Ahora contracción. Where's?
Where's your teacher from?
Muy bien. Very good. Where's? Where is? Give me the contraction. Dame la contracción. Where's your teacher from? Okay. Oh, well, I'm from California. All right. Estos son los libros de mi profesor.
These
are, plural?
are the book, my teacher's book.
Good. Books.
Books.
Okay, muy bien. Muy bien. Let me repeat. These are, estos son, these are my teacher's books. El azul es de Pepe.
The blue ones.
Singular. El azul, the blue one.
The blue one is Pepe's.
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 Muy bien, very good. The blue one, el azul. The blue one is Pepe's. Pepe's. Sajón, genitivo sajón. Pepe's, apóstrofe S al final. El de ella es el que está allí. How do we say el de ella? Hers.
Hers.
Good.
Hers
Is singular. El de ella. Hers is the one.
The one
Uh-huh.
from there.
Over there.
over there.
Yes, okay, so repeat. Hers,
Hers is the
singular.
one over there.
over there.
Over there.
Okay, good. Okay, vale. Repito yo. Let me repeat. El de ella. Estamos aquí con singular. El de ella. Hers, okay, is the one, el que, okay, the one over there. So hers is the one over there. Now, por ahí, okay, que está ahí. Ahí, claro, podemos decir there simplemente, pero en inglés también muchas veces decimos over there si estamos viendo el objeto que está por ahí. Okay, so hers is the one over there. Estás equivocado.
You are confused.
Oh, you're wrong.
You are wrong.
Yes, okay, repeat again.
You are wrong.
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 Okay, good. Contracción.
You're
You're.
you're wrong.
Okay, very good. Repeat. Wrong.
Wrong.
Okay, very good. So you are. Dame la contracción otra vez. You're wrong. You're wrong. Okay, very good. Okay, let's do one more. Esto es para aquella gente.
This is for their people.
Those
People.
Eso es, muy bien. This is for those people. Aquella gente. Those people. La casa de Antonio es muy grande.
Antonio's house is very big.
Oh, repeat again.
Is very big.
Okay, muy bien. Big.
Big.
Okay, good. Let me repeat. Antonio's house is very big. Big. Okay, la G. Okay, no decimos big. Big. No, big. Okay, es muy seco y se corta así. Un corte seco. Big. Okay, estos problemas son fáciles.
These
Eso.
problems are easy.
Very good. Muy bien, muy bien. These. Cuando sonríes, right? You say e. Okay, so these problems are easy. These problems. Again, repeat.
These problems are easy.
Okay, very good. These problems are easy. Okay, very good. Great. So, let's do one more quick one. Están muy cansados.
They are They are very tired.
Okay, very good. Muy bien. They are very tired. They're very tired. Okay, muy bien, very good. Please keep practicing at home and I will see you next time. Nos vemos en la próxima. Bye bye.
Okay, finished again. One more class and one class less. And we are doing things that probably you think you know, but you need to hear them again and again and again and again until they become so familiar that you become un malabarista consumado, aunque sea con 3 pelotas en el aire, las pelotas del inglés básico. But those 3 balls are the most important balls in communication. All right? Don't try to be a juggler, un malabarista, with 20 balls. It's impossible. Concentrate on 1, 2, 3 balls and become a consummate, accomplished juggler. So be patient. And if you think you know things, it doesn't matter. Continue listening to us and practicing and practicing and practicing. Okay, see you tomorrow.